Here at Learn to Learn, we get asked all the time, why should I even be interested in learning? Why should I get involved with what's going on in school? Why should I care? How is it relevant to me? And then these same people go on to talk to us about the state of the world. They'll say to us, what's the point? Why should I learn math or science or social studies or whatever it is, given what's happening in the world? They'll say that the world is just going to shit, and I'm supposed to somehow care about these subjects or about some career that's supposed to make things better when what I see on the horizon is that the world's ending or going to get really bad, or that it's already that way. When we try and convey that, well, if you learn these things and do well in school, then you can go on and make a difference in the world or have a good career or some kind of smaller goals. And their response is, okay, yeah, sure, everything's fine, in the most cynical way. Because what they're hearing when somebody says that to them is just one more example of, don't look over there. Don't look at what's coming. Don't look at global warming. Don't look at wars around the world. Don't look at poverty. Don't look at racism. Don't look at all of the things that are really pressing. Sea level changes and the world on fire in one area and flooding in another, and on and on and on it goes. In not addressing the obvious and not responding to their concerns, we become irrelevant. They become even more alone, even more desperate, and in an underlying way, even more depressed. After decades of working with people that are seriously depressed, the common factor that we find in all of them is that they don't see a way to get to a future that is desirable, that is inspiring. In some cases, they don't even see that that's possible. In others, they see maybe it's possible, but they don't see a way to get there. The message that students these days are getting, that you yourself may be getting, is, well, yes, that's out there, things are bad, but here, just do your math homework, or just do your job assignment and perform well and we'll give you a raise. When we really look at what's going on in us, what many of us have done is found a way just to adapt, to look at pictures of kittens or whatever it is that inspires us in the moment, that reminds us that the world can be a good place. We see some sweet thing that humans do for one another and we go, all right, that'll get me through the moment, that'll get me through the day. But what gets me through my life? What gets me through the next 20 years, 50 years? What inspires me about that? How do we think about that? How do we move forward with that? As human beings, we are meaning makers. From the day we are born, we're making meaning out of our experience. That meaning is essential. That is the bedrock. That is the foundation that we build our life on. How do we give meaning to, in an inspiring way, to a future that so often looks so bleak? In pretty much every podcast that we do, we have underlying it the same perspective, which is you have incredible capacity. Your ability to be intelligent rivals any intelligence that's been here. Anything any one of us can do, it's possible for all of us to do in our own unique way, in the way that is true to each of us uniquely. Given the state of the world, given what's happening in our lives, given what's happened to each one of us individually, we have a choice to make. Do we step up and learn how to engage what that truth is in us, what that capacity is in us? Do we learn how to uncover it and take those restrictions off of it? Do we use the kinds of things that we have touched on again and again in these podcasts to free ourselves and to develop ourselves? Then apply that to our own life and apply that to what's happening in our world. Or do we give up? Do we give in? Do we accept that the world is how it is, that it's going down the tubes, or it's bad here, or there's not really a place here for me, or there's not a future that's worth being a part of, or nobody's on my side, or all the rest of that? Or do we dig deep and first really uncover who it is we are, and then what is our unique thing to express and to live and to be in this world, and to make that part of the solution that will change this world, that will help humanity take the latest, greatest mistakes that we've made and turn those into real learning? Do we have the courage to step up and really fulfill what each of us senses in us as our potential, our capacity? That's the question that each of us have to answer. And how we answer that makes all the difference in terms of how we go forward. Do we give up? Do we just hold on to crumbs? Do we just try and find a little bit of meaning in the day-to-day? Or do we find the meaning in discovering and developing and giving expression to who we really are, and live that fully here in a way that transforms us and transforms our world? The choice is yours, and that choice is made right now. It's made over and over today. It's made every day. And what we choose and how often we get back up and choose again is what makes the difference and determines the outcome for us individually and for this world that we live in.